checking in from Minneapolis, Minnesota, home of US Bank Stadium. The Minnesota Vikings hosting your Detroit Lions today, and Detroit with an opportunity to get Dan Campbell's first away win as head coach of these Detroit Lions. It slips away there towards the end of this season. Alongside Lomas Brown, I'm Danny Rogers. Welcome into Detroit Lions post-game show live, presented by Pink Energy. Just mentioned the final score, 28-24. Lomas, those Lions, they were in the driver's seat for most of this game. When did the momentum start swinging, do you think?
Danny, I think when we went 3 and out, I'd say about 10:39 in the third quarter, we had an opportunity to bury these guys, to go up by 3 scores. We went 3 and out, gave them the opportunity to go downfield and score, and momentum kept going on their side, and they were able to pull this one out, and I'm just so disgusted right now. I just really am right now.
The Detroit Lions, one of their major keys was to be efficient on offense in terms of that silent cadence they would have to go through. It is such a hostile environment here in Minnesota. The Vikings bring everything they have to these home games inside US Bank Stadium. Jared Goff has to work silently. We have to talk about third downs, fourth downs. Those were a major storyline. Lions coming into this game have the highest third and out rate in the league. They did not help themselves today, going about 3 of 16 from third down. However, fourth down, 4 of 6, which was saving them offensively.
That did save them, Danny, but you don't like to find yourself in fourth down situation. You would rather pick them up on third down. Finding yourself in fourth down situation, it just puts a lot of stress on your offense. Everybody has to execute. We did fairly well, but again, you want to be in those third and shorts. Keep yourself in those manageable positions.
Let's hear what head coach Dan Campbell has to say. He is standing by at the post-game presser now.
I thought he was seeing it, and I thought he moved the offense, was efficient, made throws. It was really good. So, we just a couple of these third downs we got to be better on offensively, and then defense. We got to eliminate some of these penalties. We knew they're explosive offense. They got weapons over there, and we knew it would be ebbs and flows of the game. And we had our chance at the end, didn't close it out. As far as for me, I freaking regret my decision there at the end. I should have gone for it, fourth down, and I told the team that I should have gone for it. So, go ahead.
Can you just explain why you would come to the field goal? What were you thinking? What was the big
There was about 3 scenarios going on, and I'm not going to say what one of them was, but I just felt like, let's kick the field goal. We go up by 6 and force them to score a touchdown for the win. They'll have no timeouts, and should have gone for it.
Is that something you guys can work on to improve? Like, what's is it a focus level, or how do you think you guys have been able to close on some of these close games?
Yeah, it's one play here, one play there. One more conversion, or we get one more stop. And you just, out of the number of plays that are in there, you just say all we got to do is one of these different. And look, we had our chances. We played some pretty good football for a while. It came in spurts, and it was. I told the team, man, when the downs come, we got to handle them with composure, and when the ups come, we have to capitalize. And we didn't capitalize enough when we were on the ups. Really, that's kind of how I felt.
And are you kind of mad at yourself because you have been going at fourth down, have made quite a few, and then changed at the end there?
I hate it. I just hate the decision. I wish I'd have put it back in their hands offensively, and so be it. Just wish I would have done that.
You have been so aggressive early on.
Felt like we needed to do that against this team.
The juxtaposition of that at the end.
I regret that decision 100%. I really do, Dave. I hate it, and I do feel like I cost our team. I really do, man.
Similarly, at the end of the first half, when we were fourth down, instead of punting anything in deep with
talk about, do you feel like that decision put them in position to get some points?
Right, say that again, I'm
At
sorry.
the end of the first half, the decision to go for a fourth down, it seemed like it gave them a short field and better position to capitalize on it.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of felt like that's the game you play a little bit when you're going to be as aggressive as we were, as there's going to be some give and take with it, and I don't regret that. I kind of felt like that was in the flow of the game. You know, you're going to win some and lose some, and hopefully the ones you win you'll get points out of them.
Regardless of the decision, you still have a chance to make a play at the end. What happened on the touchdown catch?
Yeah, we just, communication. Communication, we weren't, I mean, we were a little bit late and a little bit behind on it.
What would be your message to your team? You're up by 10, 8 minutes to go on the road, division game, you look like you might get it. What do you say to them after this?
Look, listen, don't get frazzled by it. Now, I told him it should sting, it shouldn't taste good. I mean, because we had that. And I just told him we got to learn from it, man. We got to learn from the plays that bit us in the ass. And that, there's going to be, as you know, I mean, you guys got a job to do, but there'll be a lot of criticism placed on a number of guys, myself and including the players, and which is natural. They all know it. And but man, you can't go on the downs and ups. Last week it was really good. This week, just stay true to what it is and learn from our mistakes. And just we got to go back to work Wednesday. We got another good opponent, and that's what we got to do.
Call a timeout right before that final touchdown. You mentioned communication error on the play. How frustrating is it when you call a timeout to reset the group and it still breaks down that way?
Yeah, and I was trying to get some rush. I was wanting to get our guys a little, get their lungs back a little bit, and yeah. I mean, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. It's frustrating.
Tracy, is there an update there?
We don't know entirely. We'll know more in the morning. I mean, it doesn't look real good, but obviously it's the ankle area. Possibly it could be the Achilles. We'll see. So we'll know more tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Yeah, listen, man, those guys are tough. I mean, they are. They're in it, man, and they give all they got. And it was, I was proud of those guys for going out there and battling. And they wanted to be in there, and they wanted to help their team. And certainly weren't 100%, but that was it was good to see those guys go back out there and compete.
You mentioned the offensive line in your opening comments, the decision to go with Evan at guard.
Mm-hmm.
What led to that decision? How do you think he building in that role?
Yeah, well, it was, once we felt like Frank was going to be a go, it was, we just felt like Evan would give us the best shot at right guard, knowing that Frank was going. And, Evan's another guy. He's pretty smart, and he works well with those guys. He understands what we're doing, obviously playing the center position. And, yeah, guard's different, but he's, just working with Sewell and Frank. We felt like he was going to give us a good opportunity. I thought he played well.
New injuries obviously force you to limit Swift's carries and everything else for a bit. Do his injuries?
Oh, yeah.
Limited?
Yeah, I would say he was, yes, that's a fair assessment.
Nothing more, guys? All right. The reason you had so many fourth downs was third down situation. What do you think was going wrong on third down?
Yeah, it was just a couple of things here and there. Now, some of them were also, there was a couple of them that were, I give Ben, a green light. Like he knows what's coming. And so, you're not always going to get that. You're trying to get in a more manageable fourth. You'd love to get to third, but so some of those play into it. Certainly we were just a little off on some of that stuff. whether it was breaking the huddle and just trying to get guys in position, get the check, get the call. We're in a little bit, we were just a little bit sporadic. So we just weren't clicking. That's something we've done pretty good the last couple of weeks, and it wasn't quite there today.
Dan, your aggressiveness is part of who you've been since you've been here. Does a game like this in any way force you to reevaluate that?
I'm sorry,
Your aggressiveness.
Oh,
just
yeah.
who you are. So, I mean, do you reevaluate that at all?
No, I mean, I'll always evaluate. I go back and watch every game, and really think about, was this the right thing to do? Was it not the right thing to do? But I do know if you're going to go in and feel like you need to be aggressive early in the game, you can't second guess when it doesn't work out for you early in the game, So, no, not really. It's not going to affect me. I'm going to kind of always just do what I feel is best to help us win,
One day, 1 4th down, 3-4 minutes left. Is that accurate at all?
When we were way down there I thought about it. I was close. But there was a couple of other factors that I'd rather not get into just because I don't want the opponent to know. But yeah, that was one of those, man. I don't regret it, but yet it makes you think, man, should we have gone for that one?
Was Pooching one of the options you were considering?
Say it again.
Was Pooching it one of the options you were considering?
That was a option. It wasn't the option. But
Thank you guys.
all right, thanks.
You just heard from head coach Dan Campbell, who did not have any hesitation in saying he regrets not going for it on 4th down to potentially convert that ball and win this game. Instead, the Lions try to kick a 50-plus yard field goal. Austin Seibert misses it. Lomas, you heard Coach say this loss should sting a little bit. How do you operate as a team this upcoming week after a loss like this?
Danny, it's hard. It really is. What you have to do is you have to watch the film. You got to flush it out, and you have to move on. That's all you can do because the next opponent, they're getting ready for us. So these guys are going to have short memories. Like I say, the coaching staff are going to show them what they did wrong on film. Those guys get out there this week, try to correct it, and try to get back on track at home this week.
In terms of the final stats for this game, every category going in the Detroit Lions' favor. They won the passing yards. They rushing. One turnover for the Lions coming on that interception Jared Goff threw late in the 4th quarter. That hardly counts. Where did these Lions get beat?
Well, Danny, self-inflicted wounds, those penalties, Danny, that's what gets you, and not converting on 3rd down. We knew coming into the game that the Lions coming in here, we're going to almost have to play a flawless game, take the crowd out the game, which we did in the first half of this game, almost the entire game. But when you have penalties and it backs you up and it gets you off track, that's what starts things. And of course, like I say, 3rd down, not converting, having to convert on 4th down, you don't want to live like that.
Mm-hmm. Looking at the numbers now, 3rd down for the Detroit Lions, 19% on 3rd down,
wow.
Good for 3 of 16. And we mentioned it earlier, 4 of 6 for 4th down, 67%. You mentioned those penalties, taking a look at those now. 7 penalties for 59 yards to the Vikings, 3 for 15 yards. Those are pretty staggering numbers.
They really are. And Danny, it was the type of penalties that we were getting. A lot of them were pass interference penalties. And I felt a lot of times that we didn't have to do that. We were, Amani was in position to do something. And I hate to call him out, so let me take that back. But as a defense, you can't have these self-inflicted wounds. You can't have these penalties. You have to find a way of getting the offense off the field. Kirk Cousins kept getting more and more comfortable, and any quarterback in the league, once he gets comfortable, it's going to be hard to turn that guy off, and we couldn't do it today.
Quarterback Jared Goff out throwing Kirk Cousins in this one. And you heard head coach Dan Campbell say he operated pretty dang efficiently.
He did.
What did you see from Goff's game today?
I thought Jared was good. I thought when he was under pressure, he was calm. He threw the ball away when he had to. He made the throws when he had to do. He even used his legs when he had to use his legs, Danny. But again, if you continue to shoot yourself in the foot and back yourself up as an offense, then you're going to continue to hurt yourself. And that's what did, even though Jared, I thought he played a really, really good game.
41 attempts Goff threw today, which is a little bit on the higher side, especially for Dan Campbell's offense.
Yes.
We know that he likes to operate under that. So the run game comes in. Running back Jamal Williams did really take hold of this run game. DeAndre Swift appeared to be battling that ankle injury once again. He played through it for the most part. Jamal Williams coming up with his second game of the season, multi-touchdown game of his career.
I mean, played well. I mean, Jamal gets in there, and it's not a real big fall off. DeAndre is DeAndre, but you put Jamal in there, and it's the level is almost the same. Again, we had problems on the offensive line earlier with injuries, but I thought those guys played pretty well and blocked and did what they had to do. So, Danny, again, Ben Johnson, I thought he called a real good game. So it's just execution. The plays that are called in, we just have to be able to execute them.
Jamal Williams, you saw 20 carries for 87 yards. Flipping sides to this Vikings offense. Coming in, they knew the key was going to be, the Detroit Lions knew they had to stop running back Dalvin Cook. He goes for just under 100 yards, which seems like a pretty contained day from Cook's standpoint.
Without a doubt. I think it was. I mean, I thought they did a good job. Forced the fumble from the young man. So I didn't think he got any big plays, and that's what you have to keep from happening in the run game, though, getting those chunk yardage. We didn't do that today. I thought Alexander Madison, they kind of contained him too. So they did well, Danny, but again, so I'm sounding like a broken record, Danny. I'm sorry. I'm broke right now.
Cornerback Jeff Okudah is not broke. He was a lockdown corner today, keeping Justin Jefferson under 20 yards receiving, 14 to be exact on the day. Okudah, of course, coming off a season where he tore his Achilles week 1 last year. He really needed this game today, and he showed that he can lock down one of the top 5 receivers in the league.
I think this is going to be such a confidence boost for him going up against any other receiver. Like you said, you could shut down Justin Jefferson. You could pretty much shut down any receiver in this league. So that has to help his confidence level, even though I thought he's been playing very well this whole season. He had another good game. It was in the loss, but I thought Jeff had a good game shutting out one of the top receivers in this league. So hopefully going forward, his confidence level should be at an all-time high.
Sticking with this Detroit Lions defense, linebacker Alex Anzalone records the only sack of the day. These Detroit Lions had 5 sacks last week against Washington. What changed up front?
That was the biggest thing. We needed the pressure from Aiden. We needed the pressure from Charles Harris that had a big game last year here, but we just didn't get it from those guys. You got to give Minnesota a lot of credit. Their tackles, their offensive line did a pretty good job today containing those guys, keeping them off the quarterback, and I think that's what hurt us too, not being able to get pressure on those guys. Of course, you put a lot of stress on the secondary when you don't get pressure on that quarterback. So hopefully these guys, like I say, Danny, watch these film, learn from them, and be ready to go next week.
Anzalone led this Detroit Lions team in tackles today with 10 total tackles. And also defensively, there could be a big miss on this Detroit Lions team going forward. Safety Tracy Walker went down in this game. He was helped off the field with trainers, carted to the locker room, and never returned here after the game. He is still not walking. He was carted off once again. What kind of loss is that for the Detroit Lions team?
Huge. Think about it. Our emotional leader on the defensive side of the ball, a captain on the defensive side of the ball, the guy that runs plays and pretty much sets that secondary where it needs to be at, and our enforcer. That guy comes up and he punishes people. So it's so many things we're going to miss with Tracy being out. I hope it's not nothing year ending. I hope he's able to come back because we're going to need him, Danny. I know we put our young fella back there and he did all right, but you better believe these quarterbacks, they're going to be looking for him, and I think next week they're going to target him a lot.
This Detroit defense, led by defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn, needs to see improvement out of that unit. Too many points going up on that scoreboard now here through week 3. At least every team getting 28 points on the board. Vikings with 28 today. What do they need to do to get that scoring down?
Well, I think the thing they have to do is, again, they have to apply pressure on these quarterbacks. You've seen this a big difference when you got Aiden, you got Charles, you got those guys in the quarterback fakes. It really makes a difference. It speeds up the quarterback. Even when you don't get hits on them, it makes him speed up. So I think that's the biggest thing, is getting pressure on those guys. I thought the linebackers played well. I thought the secondary did all right, Danny. But that front line, we got to be able to get pressure on those quarterbacks.
Coming into today, Lions were tied in the NFL for first in QB pressures with 48. Is the Vikings offensive line that good?
I didn't think they were that good. We knew they wanted to come in and establish the run game with Dalvin Cook, with Alexander Mattison. So we knew that they wanted to do that because Kirk Cousins is a guy that uses the play action fake. He does well off of that. So again, getting that pressure. I didn't think the offensive line was that good, but they played well today. So I guess I can't really say that because they really did an outstanding job on our pass rushers.
Going back to this Detroit Lions offense, 8 different targets in the pass game today. You saw DJ Chark and Josh Reynolds, a couple of wide receivers making some big plays. They did a little bit quietly. What did you see from those 2 big targets downfield?
Man, I love how Jared Goff is looking for everybody, Danny. He's not just keying in on 1 or 2 receivers. He's spreading the ball, so that makes us a dangerous offense. But those guys got open. It was separation between the cornerbacks, and that's the best friend for a quarterback as far as receiver, to be able to get these guys open in space and let them do what they do. And like you said, they're big targets, so he has a big radius to get those balls to those guys.
Reynolds good for 6 receptions today, 96 yards. Every time he touched the ball, he went for about 16 yards. And then DJ Chark, quiet, 3 receptions, but he had 46 yards on the day as well. Amon-Ra St. Brown, it seemed like a very quiet day. 6 receptions, 73 yards still. What did you see out of Sun God
he
today?
He spoiled us, Danny. I'm spoiled. I'm used to him getting 8 catches, over 8 catches a game. But, you know, defenses, they're going to start clamping down on him. He's a national name now. So when teams come in to play us, especially defensive coordinators, they're going to find number 14 and they're going to bracket him. They're going to do what they have to do to try to slow him down because they know Jared Goff loves going to Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah, you mentioned it. Teams are going to start having a target on Amon-Ra St. Brown's back. And he is very well aware of that as well. TJ Hawkinson, he got in on the scoring today. It took until week 3, but tight end is back in it.
And that's so important, Danny. That's what I think one of the cogs that's missing from our offense right now is us using T.J. Hawkinson. He's such a weapon going down the middle of the field or attacking those linebackers underneath, and you have to have a tight end that's able to do that. We know once he catches the ball, he's a guy that can run after the catch. So we got to make a concerted effort to make sure that we get him more involved in the game plan a lot earlier than we do.
Running back Jamal Williams, very involved in the game plan today. He had to be with Swift limited with that ankle injury. And Jamal Williams, his second touchdown is our play of the game. It comes off of Vikings kicker Greg Joseph missing a 56-yard field goal. That would have been a big momentum swinger there. They didn't end up needing it. However, Jamal would find the end zone. This would be about 2 minutes left in the third quarter. They go up 24-14. Of course, there's a little unsportsmanlike penalty called after this one. Lois, I know, it was called.
Oh, my, okay. I almost lost my mind in the radio booth when they called that. But, I mean, what did he do? I mean, I don't understand. I guess you can't twirl your hips now. I don't
certainly
know.
Cannot.
I see that. I guess we're PG now, huh? The NFL is PG. But, yeah, I thought that was a very questionable call against Jamal. They called it. Of course, we had to kick the ball deep, gave them better field position than they needed to start that drive with. And, of course, they went down and scored. So, you know, it's just unfortunate. Again, we talk about penalties. Just unfortunate times when these penalties happen.
That would be the last touchdown these Detroit Lions would score in this game. A streak of about 18 consecutive quarters of a scoring touchdown was ruined today. It did not keep going. It was such a big talk coming into this one. This Lions offense able to churn points and get into the end zone at least once every quarter this season comes to an end.
Yeah, it does come to an end. But you know what, Danny? That means we just have to start another streak up. So let's just get another streak going.
Your final takeaways from this game that obviously did not go in the Lions' favor.
Danny, heartbreaking. It was a heartbreaking game, especially the way we lost it in the last minute of the game. To lose a game like that, it takes a lot out of a team. It takes a lot out of a player because you pour so much into it each and every week to win these games. So, again, they're going to have to flush this out. You're going to have a short memory, get back to work on Wednesday, try to correct some of those errors, try to shore up some of the things that happened, and just get ready. Get ready for a Seattle team, right, that we got coming in next week. So get ready for those guys and see what happens. But it's disappointing to lose the way we lost because we should have won that game. We really should have.
I will take back those final thoughts. We are still waiting on quarterback Jared Goff to get to the podium, but we do want to show you some scores around the league. And I have a feeling one of these scores is going to shock you, Lomas. Bills did not get a win over the Miami Dolphins today.
Really?
Yes, very big shocker.
Wow.
And then Chicago Bears, another team in the NFC North, picking up a win today. It was pretty cutthroat in the NFC North. Every team at 1-1 going into today. So Bears and Vikings are escaping, at least so far that we know, with a win. So every Sunday, you never know.
You're right. It's like that every Sunday. And wow, I'm really shocked about the Dolphins beating the Bills because that's the team everybody's talking about going to the Super Bowl. But it's a long season. It really is a long season. Just a small sample size that we've had right now going into week 4. We'll see what happens. That's when you start separating teams. Once you get to week 4 and beyond, then you'll start seeing what teams that you think are going to do something and get in the postseason and those teams that are pretenders.
Did you have the Colts over Chiefs today?
No, I didn't.
Oh, well, you better change that.
Wow.
Colts also getting a win. We don't have our monitor out here today, folks, so we're getting these scores as they come.
Yeah.
Colts also getting a win, and I believe the Panthers picked up their first win over the Saints as well. So
all right. So we got a lot of shockers going on around the league today.
we sure do.
Yeah, wow.
Wow. Bills coming to Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Lions see that. That could be a big booster, of course.
Yeah, that can be and stuff. And Danny, I'm going to be interested in next week to see how, again, you got a tough Seattle team coming in here. You got Geno Smith as their quarterback now, and they played a nice game against Russell Wilson a week or two ago, didn't win. They did win that game. So I want to see how this Seattle team comes in here, but I really want to see how we respond. I think that's the key is how we're going to respond during this week of practice, but again, leading up into the game on Sunday.
Detroit Lions, they are going to be mad. There is no doubt about that. Coach Campbell anticipated these Minnesota Vikings coming in here today and being mad after their loss to Philly on Monday Night Football. Not a good loss either. And the Vikings coming out on top today. So Detroit Lions, can they go win matter next Sunday?
I think
week
so.
4.
I think they can. I think we should, like you say, we should be mad about Seattle coming there. Of course, we're going back home, which is always good to get back in front of your home fans and everything. I know they're going to be rocking and rolling at Ford Field and going to make it tough on Seattle coming in there. And hopefully, man, we'll be able to get back on track against they're a good team. They really are. Seattle's a good team, but I think we're a good team too.
We are still waiting on quarterback Jared Goff to get to the podium. If he does not have a weapon like running back DeAndre Swift here for the foreseeable future, we do not know yet. We just know he was battling that ankle injury and saw limited action today. Who's next man up?
Yeah, I mean, I know that Jamal's going to be there. I guess Josh Reynolds will be there. He got some run. He got a little run today. They might have to bring somebody up from the practice squad, just depending on how far he's out. But those guys, they're going to have to do it, Danny. Next man up. That's been the mentality of the team. That's been the mentality of Dan Campbell. So they're counting on those guys to come up and be able to do what they need to do to help us try to get a victory next week. So I don't expect too much of a fall off. Of course, nobody's DeAndre, but I expect those guys to try to pick up that slack.
Most certainly by committee. You also have Justin Jackson, who was getting in on the action of kickoff return. We've seen Khalif Raymond do that the first 2 weeks. How do you think Justin Jackson did there on special teams?
I think he does well. To me, he makes people miss, and he runs tough on special teams, especially with the kickoff. So I love to see him out there, and I would love to see him get a lot of playing time. Like I say, he's a guy that's a powerful guy, but also a guy that's able to get out on the perimeter and make guys guys missed. So I think his combination of size and speed, that's going to help Jamal, and then it'll help the other guys when you got that change up back that you could put in the backfield and let him run the ball. So hopefully it won't be a big drop off between those guys. The biggest thing when you got a new running back there is the pass protection. How does he pass protect? Because he has to be able to do that. So that'll be the biggest thing to watch with a Justin Jefferson.
Pass protection certainly huge for this running back unit, as long as the wide receiver unit. Both assistant coaches making that very well known with Antoine Randall L, receivers, and Deuce Staley there with running backs. Charles Harris is a veteran up against that defensive line. He had 3 sacks against the Vikings last season. 3 of his 7.5 sacks on the season, which were his career high. How did Charles do today?
Man, he didn't. I didn't hear Charles' name a lot. And, again, I know those tackles knew that they were going to have to be big against Aiden and against Charles. A couple of times they had Charles and Aiden lined up on the same side, and we're trying to use them as rushers and everything. But you got to credit Minnesota. They slid the line to those guys. They did a great job of one-on-one matching up with those guys, and they gave Kirk Cousins enough time for him to step up in the pocket or to look deep for his target. So, yeah, I mean, tough way of learning, because I did think that Charles was going to have a big game, was looking for him to have a big game. But this is the NFL, Danny. This is the NFL. Those guys get paid just like our guys get paid. So you're going to have some ups and you're going to have some downs. Fortunately for Charles and Aiden, this was kind of a down game for them.
Charles Harris, 6th year here in the NFL. You also have Michael Brockers there up along the defensive line, another veteran, 10-plus years in the league. What do you think they're telling players like Aleem McNeil and Aiden Hutchinson?
Well, see, that's a great point, because, again, you want your veterans to get in the ear of these young guys and let them know, hey, you're going to hit bumps in the road in the NFL season, but you have to make sure that those bumps aren't too bumpy. You got to smooth them out, and that's what Michael is telling those guys. Hey, we got a long ways to go. It's consistency, and if we keep being consistent with what we're doing out there at practice, with how we handle our business, then things are going to turn around. They really will. So it's good to have a veteran in your ear at times, especially after a game like this.
The veteran on the offensive side is quarterback Jared Goff. He is standing now at the podium. Let's hear what his post-game
He
thoughts
ultimately
are.
has the final say, and I'm not going to question him, but I wish I would have gone over there and demanded to stay on the field, and I guarantee he would have let us. So we all have our regrets in some ways, shape, or form, but ultimately we had 2 chances as an offense to finish that game. Really had a chance on the longer drive, 4th and 1, we didn't convert, and then had a chance after following that when they didn't convert on 4th down. 2 chances, get a few first downs, and the game's over. And just gave them too many chances. I think he was deciding. Yeah, there wasn't really much talk. Yeah, I don't think it will. We keep saying, this, it's like today, we're close. No, I think we're there. Like it's like we're there. We just have to get a first down here. Execute on one more play here, and throw one more better ball, and it's over. That game should have been over long before they were able to get back in it, and I'm sure they know that, but we let them back in it, and that's our fault.
Jared, any idea why 3rd down has been kind of such an area that's snake-bitten you guys these past 2 games?
I think a lot of the times we were playing with 2 downs. So, the numbers may look poor, but we're converting on 4th, and we're doing it somewhat on purpose. It's not always that way, but there's some where we're throwing it short of the sticks and knowing that, okay, we're 4th and 2, we're going to go for it. And
Jerry, how much do you fight, I guess, on the sideline to go for it on that final 4th down?
I wish I would have. Yeah, I wish I would have. I didn't as much as I wish I would have. That was tough. That was a tough spot, man. It's a tough decision. Obviously, if we make the field goal and we stop them on defense, there's no question about it, right? But it's tough. It was 4th and 4. You're kind of in that tweener zone. You could even discuss to punt it in some scenarios. But ultimately, I think, I wish I would have said something to Dan. I didn't, and I'm sure he would have let us have it if I had done that.
What do you say to, or anyone say to Austin after a game like that?
Yeah.
Again, not that it's on him solely, but
Again, yeah. I mean, he's going to make a game winner for us at some point. So He's going to have to keep his head up and keep chugging along every day. But again, it shouldn't have came down to that. It really shouldn't have. We had 2 drives there, 4th and 1, and then the following drive off the turnover on downs where get a couple first downs, throw a couple completions, a couple efficient runs, and the game's over.
Jared, you guys go for it on 4th down so much. It almost seems like you have to vary it. You can't just run it ahead, and there was a couple of missed passes or incompletions on 3rd and 4th and short. Is that just because you can't run it every single time on all those 4th downs?
I'm not sure what
On 3rd and 2 or 4th and 2.
Right.
People would wonder why are you throwing the ball there.
Oh yeah, we were 4 of 6 today. I don't know how many were runs and passes on 4th down. 3rd and 2, yeah. I mean that's a better question for Ben. I'll do either, and you can argue either. I'm sure we'll lean typically towards what's converting more for us, but you can do either.
On other teams you've been on, what's been the thing that pushes you over this hump?
Belief in each other and full execution there at the end of the game. All these games are going to be one score. Every single one of them we're in. For the most part, are going to be one score games. Even that Washington game got dicey there towards the end. Like the NFL is so good, being in a position to win the game, even once, get a couple first downs and the game's over is a gift, and you need to take advantage of it. And we didn't. And I own a lot of that, but we got 2 chances today to put it away, and we didn't.
We've seen the offensive line and the way they played. Obviously, that's pretty good front there. But
Yeah.
2 sacks, 2 hits on you, I think. All
Yeah, they played great. They played really good. Those 2 edge rushers are a real deal now, and I thought they did a great job. Keep me upright, and then the run game as well. We got a lot of good things going there, and they've been really gelling together. I thought having Frank back this week was helpful, and it looked good.
I was also going to ask about the offensive line, but you're doing some elusiveness in the pocket. Was that something you identified in film, or is that just a field thing at the moment?
Yeah, I just did it a little bit more today. I don't think I was anticipating doing it. Yeah, I don't know.
You guys got Chart going early in this game.
Yep.
The first 1 weeks, he really wasn't connecting with him. Was that intentional to kind of get him into it?
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, Ben was very aware of that, and I'm very aware of it too. Like we want to get the guys that need the ball, and he's one of them. And I think the biggest one that's still hurting me right now is that crosser we had to him. Just off his hand, I just missed him. I'm sure he'd say I could have made that catch, but no, I got to make a better throw, and that may have broken the game wide open. I think we were up 10, and that one's the one that kind of still hurts me. But he's a great player. Sorry to answer your question. He's a great player, and we need to get him the ball as much as possible.
What have you learned about the running game in 3 weeks? I mean, it seems like no matter who's in the back, it
Yeah.
offensive line is still-
Yeah, we've got a deep running game in both players and scheme, and obviously up front we're kind of getting to the point where we can kind of run any type of run, whether it's gap scheme, wide zone, inside zone, some of the jet sweep stuff. We've been having success at kind of all of it, which is really good for an offense and opens it up like you saw today. I mean, there was a lot of really good moments for us today, but again, you'd love to be standing here saying, and then we did that run that finished the game, or that pass that finished, whatever it may be, and yeah, it sucks.
You probably know better than most what some of your teammates are going through and how sort of early thinking I thought was sort of goes out today. Josh,
Yeah.
Just speak to sort of.
Yeah, that's what happens. I mean, they're tough guys. I know they'll fight through it, but yeah, every team's gonna deal with something like that, and it's next man up, right? And we feel good about our depth.
What do you think about Brown right guard?
I'm sorry.
Evan Brown being the starter right guard?
Yeah, Evan did good. I've had got a lot of experience with Evan, and I thought he stepped in there well. I don't know how many times he's played guard, but I'd have to watch it. But I felt like he did a good job out there and was really dialed in. I thought that was really good with the O-line this week specifically, is how dialed and focused they were. And I had a lot of guys in there who have a lot of experience. The skipper's the least one, but he's so focused himself. But I thought they did a good job.
We know that you, in this locker room, you're leading voice in that locker room. So what do you need to say, if anything, that helps you turn the page after the loss of this?
Yeah, I think the idea that we're close, kind of what I spoke to earlier, like we're getting better, and yeah, sure, that was close to winning, but no, we're there. Like, our defense played well, our offense played well. We just have to finish and make 2 or 3 more plays at the end of the game, and we are having a completely different conversation right now. And now you're going to say, well, that is close, and I know, but we did it last week. Like, we can do it. We know we can do it. We have the guys who can do it. We have the coaches who can do it, and just need to do it. And you know, what is that reason why? I don't know, but I know it. I know we have the guys here to solve those problems, and it's not close. It's there. Like, we just need to do it. If that makes sense. I know it's kind of convoluted, but you know what I mean. All right.
Thanks, Jared.
Lomas, what doubt is there in your mind, if any, that quarterback Jared Goff will not fight for another chance to keep the ball in his hands to win a game?
I love the guy. I really do. I love his attitude. I just love everything about Jared. I said on the radio broadcast, I said Jared's always composed, Danny. He never seems to be flustered. And that's a great thing to be a quarterback, because everybody else feeds off of that. So I think he's a great example of how you just keep your head down and you keep working. And that's what the Lions are going to do.
Biggest message from QB1 is the Lions they're not close. They're here. They just need to finish. All right, for Lomas Brown, I'm Danny Rogers. Thanks so much for tuning in to Detroit Lions Live post-game show presented by Pink Energy. A tough, close loss here in Week 3, 28-24, the final from US Bank Stadium here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We will see you next week, Week 4. Detroit Lions taking on those Seattle Seahawks. We'll see you there.